And this is Joseph Darling from the Men of High Value channel. Today we're going to talk about your power to change. Sometimes in life, we feel like we are powerless. We feel like things are not working. We're miserable. We're depressed. And life just sucks. It doesn't always have to be like that. In fact, if you follow this channel, make sure you like and subscribe. I can promise you it's not going to remain that way. I mentioned in my video yesterday that my enthusiasm is contagious. And I'm going to give you happiness and joy from my thoughts. If you follow my thinking, if you follow my life philosophy, you are going to be happy. The reason why I know this is because I am happy. I'm fired up outside my brain on a daily basis. Now, obviously, I have my down days, don't we all? But my down days are not like this, right? My down days are like this. At the top. Sometimes I feel off, but that means that I'm just down a little bit. And then I get back up, and then I'm down a little bit. It's not the emotional instability that most people feel these days. Of which I am so grateful, by the way. Okay, so I want to help you to get to that level of joy and happiness of which I'm going towards. I'm not there yet. I'm not even where I want to be yet, okay? Not at all. Like, I know I can 1000x, 10,000x, 100,000x my life, my happiness, my joy. And you can be part of that journey, and we can go towards there together. But what has to change? Think about attaining that goal, getting to the top of that exponential growth phase and experiencing the joy and the happiness and everything that's going on at that moment in time. You're getting massive results in your life. You've got more money than you could ever imagine. Your woman is madly in love with you. You've got amazing kids, and just like you're creating the next generation, and everyone around you just loves you, and they've got depth. And there's quality to each relationship that you invest time in. Oh my gosh. Imagine being up there. You know what makes the difference up there? You know what it is you actually want up there? It's the thinking and the feeling, the emotion that you're gonna get. That's what you're searching for. That's what you're striving to get to. It's not about the money, it's not about the relationship, it's not about, even though it's about all of that, it's about what those things bring in terms of your thoughts and emotions. Strangely enough, this is how our journey starts, okay? So we reverse engineer, we want to get thoughts and emotions that are like that at the top of the exponential growth phase, and yet we have to start today with the correct thoughts and emotions. In fact, it is our thoughts and emotions that brings us up the exponential growth curve. Nothing else. This is why you have to begin with the end in mind. And when you begin with the end in mind, like it's right now, it's happening. So you've got to figure out how to get the exponential growth phase. Well, we know how to get the exponential growth phase. It's consistency. That's it. Nothing else. If you're being consistent with the right thing, meaning consistency in service, doing good to other people. That's what life is about, guys. That's all it is. If you serve others and do good to other people consistently for a long period of time, you not only will have an exponential growth curve in the quality of your relationships and the joy and happiness and everything that's going to happen to you, you will also have lots and lots of money. because you're doing good, you're serving others, and you're serving others to the capacity of suddenly you don't have time to serve all the people that you're serving. Now you're beginning to hire people, and you're not afraid of money, so you make sure that you charge people for the value that you give out. Just like with my coaching services, the people that actually pay me money, I actually coach them better than those people that I coach here and there for no money. Because the people that don't pay me money don't get consistency. They don't get a set scheduled meeting every single week to progress in their life. And they also don't take my advice seriously. Now, there are some of my clients that actually pay me but don't show up, right? And I want to help them too. And part of it is my responsibility as well, because I need to sell them better on my services while after they've paid, right? But for those that pay and take it seriously, they get the exponential growth phase like nobody's business. It increases their joy and happiness and makes things happen. And it increases their hope and belief of the future. Like, if I can achieve this in this short amount of time, imagine what can happen in a long period of time. But it starts with consistency. So how do we get consistency? Consistency means habits, right? If you have the right habits in place, everything's consistent. That's what a habit is. It's the definition of a habit, is a consistency in the behavior. And those habits are so strong, like basically, spaghetti straws. When you're trying to break spaghetti straws, breaking one little measly spaghetti is like a piece of cake. But if you've got 100, or you've got 1,000, or you've got 10,000 straws, try to break that one, okay? It's gonna be tricky. That's exactly how our habits work. The more consistent you are with a habit that you know will create exponential growth phase in the long run, if you just keep doing it every single day, no matter what, rain or shine, it doesn't matter. That habit will give you that exponential growth every single time. This is why success is predictable. This is why everyone who is consistent will succeed, as long as they're doing something that other people desire them to do for them. Like, if they're doing something that is not gonna sell because you're the only person that likes it. At the same time though, if you actually like something, trust me, there's gonna be some other people out there who also likes it. Make a YouTube channel about the thing that you love so much and see the consistency, and people will follow because they're interested in what you're doing. You might suck, but that's just in the beginning. It gets worse before it gets better, and then the consistency will make you actually an expert on the subject and will improve everything, and suddenly people will be attracted to it, and then it just happens automatically all on its own. Consistency, man, it's amazing. But we've got a big but here, and that is we live in a world of distraction. There are so many opportunities, and very often people get the hiccup of they start something and then it gets worse, right? It's not working, but we forget that when it's not working, it actually is working. It's just that you gave up too early and then started something new. And then it wasn't working, it got worse before it was supposed to get better, right? It gets worse before it gets better, but every single time you start a new project, it's gonna get worse, right? And since it got worse, you feel that, oh man, this is too hard. It's easier to go and make money there. And then you basically change project after project after project after project. Trust me, I've been there. And it's a problem. You need to stick to something until the exponential growth phase happens. It won't happen if you keep changing what you do, if you're not consistent over a long period of time. You've got to be consistent. Okay, so how do we get to consistency? Well, then we have to change the behavior. We have to know that which works in the long run and in the big scheme of things. Basically, my definition for truth, that which works in the long run and in the big scheme of things. If it doesn't work long term in the big scheme of things, it's not true. It's not correct. It's gotta work. Why would God put a system in place where things simply don't work? That's not the case. He's put a perfect system. Just that belief that the system that God designed is perfect helps you understand that you just don't know what works and what doesn't work. If you follow the things that He's put in place, and there's certain universal laws and principles that if you just followed, everything's going to work out. If you know that, you know everything's going to work out. Like that produces joy and happiness all on its own. Okay, so anyway, you want those behaviors in place. What is it that makes those behaviors not stick long enough in order for them to become habits? What is it? Well, you've got the distraction. I mentioned that a little bit. But the other aspect is your thoughts and feelings, right? We want to get to those thoughts and feelings up there, but we got to begin with the end in mind, which is our thoughts and feelings right now. The only reason why your behaviors stop and change and start and change and stop and change and start and whatever is because your thoughts and emotions are inconsistent. This is where we get back to masculinity. The more masculine you are, man, the more you're going to achieve your goals. The more feminine you are as a man, the less you're going to achieve your goals. Which means making masculinity your purpose, one of the things that you strive for your entire life to improve upon and to become better at, to become emotionally stable. It's a powerful principle. It's absolutely powerful. Your thoughts have to change if you want your behaviors and habits to stick. And this is why we've got this channel, so that you can learn the thinking that's required for you to actually succeed on a consistent basis that gives you the exponential growth curve. This is why I start with leading yourself first. Number 1, lead yourself. Number 2, lead a team, business. Number 3, lead women. Number 4, lead kids. If you don't have kids, this is not the time to get kids. If you haven't figured out how to lead yourself, being emotionally stable and not being needy and desperate, and if you haven't started a business team of any sort and you don't have employees, it's not time to have kids at all, okay? Like if you think, oh, but my wife, she needs kids, you know, and we need, it's okay to adopt. I know it's something special about getting your own kids, but it's also okay to adopt. But in order for you to adopt, you've got to have a lot of money, right? You can't procrastinate that. So what I'm saying is, it's not time to have kids if you're not able to lead yourself. It's not time to include women into your life if you can't lead yourself. In some ways, it's not time for you to start a team if you can't lead yourself. You've got to start there. And that's where we always talk about the 90-day semen retention challenge. I want you to succeed at it. I want you to get past it. And if you're past it, I want you to contact me and tell me I'm ready for the next step. What's the next step? You know the next step. It's to start a business. In fact, you should have started a business during your semen retention journey. And then once you've completed the 90 days of semen retention, you keep that lifestyle and you massively grow your business to like unprecedented levels. Everything starts with that one. How you feel. You don't want to be inconsistent with that one. Practicing semen retention allows you to become emotionally stable. If you're not emotionally stable, practice semen retention. Everything's going to change if you manage to do that over 90-day period and over a long period of time. Emotional stability, that's what we're working towards. And right now in the beginning, don't mess around with sexual energy practices or edging or anything like that. If you're struggling with semen retention, don't increase the sexual energy because then you won't have control. In the beginning, like you want You want your sexual energy to go down temporarily. Remember, it's going to get worse before it gets better, but it becomes fantastic once you allow your sexual energy to just run on its own in the background without you tampering, without you touching it, without you doing anything about it. Okay? Number one, lead yourself. We're going to master that principle, and that's what I'm talking about these days on this channel. Thinking, you got to change your thinking, got to change your emotions, make them stable so that your behaviors and your habits can be consistent and stable, so that your exponential growth curve can naturally, automatically happen, and you can have a certainty, the joy and happiness in the certainty that your success is inevitable. Your success is inevitable if you follow this channel, simply because I'm contagious. This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I'll see you again tomorrow.